My dad always had this saying. He talked about how chicken soup is referred to as Jewish penicillin. And that always stuck with me. So I wanted to do some research on it because with all this cold, wet, rainy weather, it very much feels like soup weather. So I found this article on CBS News, and I wanted to read it to you all. At the first sign of sniffles, what do? Take 2 aspirin, go to bed, chug some cold medicine. Some say the best cure is one of the oldest and tastiest, chicken soup, which some consider Jewish penicillin. Correspondent Nancy Giles asked a cookbook author and food historian Joe Nathan, are there particular properties that can help with a cold? And she said, when I was making soup the other day, there was something about the aroma of chicken soup. It just felt good, she replied. And when I have a cold, it's the first thing that I'll get. Nathan, who some call Jewish Julia Child, says chicken soup has been on the menu for centuries. The first recorded mention of chicken soup was someone named Discordes, who was an army surgeon general in Rome. She said, but then later, Maimonides, who was a Jewish philosopher, scientist, if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, said that chicken soup was a panacea for so many things, like asthma, weight gain, like bone broth is today, and leprosy. Since Maimonides' time, chicken soup has been prescribed by grandmothers and doctors alike, but many believe there is really evidence to support the prescription. As chicken cooks, it releases an amino acid resembling properties in medicine used to fight infections such as bronchitis. And in 2000, a study found that chicken soup may also reduce inflammation. Less inflammation equals fewer symptoms. For our love of chicken soup is universal. Nathan said it just smells so good. I can feel it going right into the core of my stomach. But there are as many recipes as there are countries where it's eaten. In Greece, lemon and egg are added to the chicken broth. In Thailand, plenty of lime juice and coconut. And Southerners add dumplings, and for Jews, matzo balls. So Giles asks, so matzo balls started out being made from actual matzo, and now they are made from like what? Matzo meal? Nathan replied, Manischewitz came along and put out a cookbook in the 1930s, tempting kosher dishes for when they made matzo meals. And the cookbook talked about heavenly, I can't say that word, Alsatian balls. They didn't call it matzah at that time. That's when it really came a part of American culture through commercialism and through people wanting to do things a little bit easier. Traditionally, the matzo ball was served at Passover, the Jewish holiday commemorating the Israelites' freedom from Egypt. And at New York's 2nd Avenue Deli, where they've been ladling chicken soup and matzo balls into bowls since opening in 1954, executive chef David Taif, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, was asked if he had a matzo ball preference, fluffy or dense. Fluffy, he replied. The fluffier the matzo ball, that is the ultimate. You should take a spoon and be able to put your spoon right on top of it, but it needs to be airy. Deli owner Jack Liebewall offered the secret for making matzo balls, schmaltz, otherwise known as chicken fat. My brother had a saying, anyone who makes matzo balls not with schmaltz, it's an assimilated matzo ball, he said. After cooking these matzo balls, will join their mate, chicken soup. When he asked what makes their chicken soup so iconic, he replied, the quality of the chicken we use, the amount of bones that we use, and just less is more. Less is more. But what the soup lacks in ingredients, it more than makes up for in history, tradition, and family. So, there's comfort to it. There's love. There's also science backed behind this, which reduces inflammation. There's a lot to be said for how bone broth is actually made and the amount of nutrients that are found in it. And it just goes to show that our grandmothers, they knew something. So when you're feeling under the weather, when it's rainy like it is today, have a bowl of soup. It'll make you feel better. We'll talk to you soon.